to be making some very simple chocolate chip muffins. You're going to want to start by preheating your oven to 400 degrees, and by spraying a muffin tin. You're going to need 12, or if you have 2 6s or 3 4s, that works too. Spraying them off with some Pam. Or you can use muffin cup liners. That works perfectly well too. This is a basic recipe. I've made it once before. It turned out pretty good last time, so I'm hoping it'll be good this time as well. Now the dry ingredients, it calls for 2 cups of flour for this recipe. Okay, I was a little light on that. Okay, calls for half a cup of white sugar. But also, we're going to need 3 tablespoons of the white sugar for the topping. So, make sure you get some of that. Okay. And we also need 3 teaspoons of the baking powder. Make sure it all mixes well in there. I always seem to spill just a little bit with my luck. Okay, half a teaspoon of salt. Like the pancake recipe, I find these pretty easy, so that's all for the dry mix for the muffins. The topping does require 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. So, with brown sugar, they say you should always pat it really well, completely down in there. So, although since this is just a topping, it doesn't matter as much. But normally, you want to pack it. Like if you've ever made cookies and you've noticed, you pack it so it comes out as one solid chunk, like making sandcastles or something. Okay. I'm making sure the topping is mixed pretty well. I don't want big chunks of brown sugar in there. I got all the flour, the white sugar, the baking powder, and salt for the dry ingredients, and then for the topping I got the white sugar and brown sugar. So now I'm going to move on to the wet ingredients, the liquids. You need 1 cup of milk. I'm going to use organic, even though it's a bit expensive, and it'll make these a little bit better for you. Although honestly, I don't know. Does organic milk really help with baking that much? I'm not sure myself, but I like the taste of it a lot. So, and the reason I'm putting the liquids in the bigger bowl is, like I said earlier, you're going to be dumping the dry ingredients into the liquid when you mix. And an egg. 1 hard crack is what I like to do for eggs. That's what they say you should do. Then I'm going to whisk this all together. Now, if you want chocolate chip muffins, you're going to add 3/4 cup chocolate chips to this. If you want blueberry, you can add some blueberries. You know, whatever you want to add. If you want them plain, you don't have to really add anything. But I want to make these chocolate chips, so I'm just using the 1 cup measuring cup because I like chocolate chips a lot. Doesn't matter to me if I'm super dead on or not, but what do you think? Is that about 3/4 cup? Maybe a little more probably. Add them in. Okay. Now it was very clear, the recipe I'm using off the internet. It said to add the dry ingredients all at once to the liquid and then mix it just until it's well mixed and lumpy. So that doesn't mean over stir. If it emphasizes just until lumpy, don't beat this, don't beat it to a pulp, So, Okay, this doesn't really make much of a mess. That's another thing I like about this recipe. I don't get yelled at for making a huge mess. So, alright. All at once. Although I'm still pretty messy with anything. Okay, it's starting to get a little lumpy. Gotta make sure I get all the flour mixed in well. It's all a bit of egg in there, but I want to make sure I get that mixed. I don't want to overmix it, but I still gotta make sure you get all your flour and stuff. That's looking decent. I mean, I'm not really seeing much flour in there. And it's still pretty lumpy, so. Now last time, I forgot to do this topping. The 3 tablespoons white sugar, 2 tablespoons brown sugar. So this time, it'll be even better. So I'm excited to eat this. Now you got the 12. This always annoyed me, pouring this. I always had difficulties with this, but, well, you know, you could use a spoon, or if you have some sort of utensil, but I just like to go for it. I just go little by little. I fill each one about half full, although that one kind of got filled up a lot. Be a little tinier, but yeah, it's good to make them all even. You know, you don't want like 3 huge ones and then some tiny ones. Unless you do, I mean, but they might vary in baking time, so that's a reason to consider not messing around with their levels. Okay, I always like to eat a lot of batter. One. You could save the bowl, wash it out, lick the batter. If you have a significant other, kids, friends, you know, let them eat some. Okay. This time, I'm not going to forget my topping like I did last time, but I'm also pretty even, but I'm also going to wipe off. I don't want any of this to get cooking in the oven and smell burnt. I got my washcloth a little bit dirty, but okay. Just sprinkle a little bit of this on each one. Yeah, make sure you sprinkle it before. This isn't after. This is going to cook into them. You can use your hand or a spoon or, you know, anything you want, really. Yeah, I got one tiny one. A couple tiny ones, actually. They're going to smell burnt probably right away, but yeah, make sure you get them all even, because you don't want some to be doughy and some to be rock solid burnt. I'm trying to get the topping evenly on each muffin, but we'll see what happens with that. Okay. And as these bake, they should absorb the sugar coating on top. I didn't end up using all of it, I didn't want to. They're good either way, with or without it. And the recipe says to cook them 20 to 25 minutes, or you can do the toothpick, insert it into the middle, and if it comes out dry, they're done. But if you've ever had a muffin, you're going to know what it looks like, so I like muffins. These would be pretty good. With my super hot oven, 15 minutes, but you should know based off your oven. If it's too cold, it's a cold oven, go 35. You know, go half an hour. If it's a normal oven, go 20 to 25, but I'm going to set my timer for 15 and see how they look, so alright. These look alright. They don't seem too burnt. I'm not even going to do the toothpick method where you insert it because I know these are done, so. The sugar on top looked alright. I should have spread it a little better, but they'll still be good, so I hope you try this and enjoy these. Oops. They look good. Wait a minute at least before you try to get them out.